Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. They say the world's gone crazy, twisted and strange, but wisdom lasts through every kind of change. Step up, wake up, take control of the fight. We're breaking chains with every word we write. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Fades with a confident cadence, supported by laid-back beat and smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivation. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Yeah, yeah. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Yeah. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Fades with a confident cadence, supported by laid-back beats and a smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivation. Yeah. Yeah. Yo. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype.
Yeah. Mic check 1, 2. This is Thomas on the air. Pulling back the curtains, truth is laid bare. No fake smiles, no filters, no disguise. Just a raw reflection in your mind's eyes. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. They say the world's gone crazy, twisted and strange, but wisdom lasts through every kind of change. Step up, wake up, take control of the fight. We're breaking chains with every word we write. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Fades with a confident cadence, supported by laid-back beat and smooth bass line.
gritty, yet motivation. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Yeah, yeah. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Yeah. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Phase with a confident cadence, supported by laid-back beats and a smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivation. Yeah. Yeah. Yo. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype.
Yeah. Mic check 1, 2. This is Thomas on the air. Pulling back the curtains, truth is laid bare. No fake smiles, no filters, no disguise. Just a raw reflection in your mind's eyes. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. They say the world's gone crazy, twisted and strange, but wisdom lasts through every kind of change. Step up, wake up, take control of the fight. We're breaking chains with every word we write. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Fades with a confident cadence, supported by laid-back beat and smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivation. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Yeah, yeah. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Yeah. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Phase with a confident cadence, supported by laid-back beats and a smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivation. Yeah. Yeah. Yo.
Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype.
Yeah. Mic check 1, 2. This is Thomas on the air. Pulling back the curtains, truth is laid bare. No fake smiles, no filters, no disguise. Just a raw reflection in your mind's eyes. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. They say the world's gone crazy, twisted and strange, but wisdom lasts through every kind of change. Step up, wake up, take control of the fight. We're breaking chains with every word we write. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Thomas bringing truth like pages from the past. A voice that echoes, never fading fast. It's a podcast, but it feels like more. Opening doors you've never seen before. Keep it real, stay strong, rise above the hype. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Brothers stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Fades with a confident cadence, supported by laid back beat, smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivation. Keep it real, stay strong.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live show. Happy Friday. Put a 1 in the chat if you're ready to talk about the patriarchy. I invited a lot of feminists to watch the show. If you know a feminist, if you are a feminist, we would love to hear from you. Go ahead and hit that like button on your way in. I appreciate every single person that's watching right now. And we're going to get into an awesome show tonight. But I got a question. Did you know that many people misunderstand who actually benefits from the patriarchy? Did you know that? A lot of people misunderstand who actually benefits from the patriarchy. And we have so many debates from feminists, from misandrists, from radfems, from MGTOWs to incels to pro-Black women and women all over the world and country, where a lot of people think patriarchy is bad and matriarchy is good. Some people think matriarchy is good, and patriarchy is bad. So we're going to break this show into 2 segments because I'm African American. And we're going to talk about the patriarchy in general. And then on the last half of the show, we're going to talk about specifically the Black community. So we're going to get started with a video from Jordan Peterson, and I like what he says in this video because he's talking to a feminist. And I follow feminists on Twitter. I talked to them on Twitter right before I went live. I was talking to a few on Twitter, and they always have the same story. They look at patriarchy as bad, and women should be equal with men. Now, I want you to remember that, because the answer is going to shock you. Why shouldn't women and men be equal? Why is it good that one gender is less than the other one? Well, I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but I would say, why is it socially designed to where one gender is greater than the other? Let's watch the video, and then we're going to talk about it.
My idea of the patriarchy, which is a system of male dominance of society.
Yeah, but that's not my sense of the patriarchy.
So what's yours?
Well, in what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
A very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely?
I like what he said. I like how he broke that down. Because feminism doesn't take into account what he just said. He said a lot of men do a lot of things. Men are in prison, men go to war, men take on heavy labor, men are doing a lot. So it's not that men are oppressing women with It's not that men are oppressing women with the patriarchy. Women, here's the answer, women actually benefit from a patriarchy. And I'm going to explain how in 1 second.
What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society.
That's what they do. That's what feminists do. If you talk, and I do this all the time, if you talk to a feminist, they'll go into this whole spiel about how not all men, but it's a man. Not all men, but it's a man. It's not all men, but it's a man. But what are men protecting us from? Men. So they look at this small subsect of men, and they make it look out to be as the entire representation of the male population. You can't do that, because you can't take 49% of men and expect them to be 100% of a total gender. That's not mathematically correct, and that's not logically correct.
There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
But I could say equally well that most rape victims are women. You know, terrible things happen to people of both sexes.
And you could say that with perfect utility, but that doesn't provide any evidence for the existence of a male-dominated patriarchy. Well, it just means that terrible things happen to both genders, which they certainly do.
But there are almost no women who rape men, for example. So that is an asymmetry there in sexual violence.
Well, yes, there's an asymmetry in all sorts of places, but that doesn't mean that Western culture is a male-dominated patriarchy. The fact that there are asymmetries has nothing to do with your basic argument.
No, but you might
This is a trope that people just accept. Western society is a male-dominated patriarchy. It's like, no, it's not. That's not true. And even if it has a patriarchal structure to some degree, the fundamental basis of that structure is not power, it's competence. That's why our society works. It's only when a structure degenerates into tyranny that the fundamental relationships between people become dependent on power. It's not power. If you hire a plumber who's likely to be male, it's not because there's roving bands of tyrannical plumbers forcing you to make that choice. And it's the case with almost every interaction that you have at the face of our culture. You're dealing with people who are offering a service of one form or another, who are usually part of the broad middle class, and who offer, and what you're looking for is the person who can offer the best service, and you can find it. It's not a consequence of being dominated by anything that's tyrannical. And then again, our culture, our Western culture, which is by no means perfect, and certainly has tyrannical elements like all cultures do, is the least tyrannical society that's ever been produced, and certainly the least tyrannical society that exists now.
Exactly. That's the one thing feminists lie about. They're like, oh, well, women are oppressed. We're just so oppressed, and we're so downtrodden, and oh my God, the abortion laws, and they revoked Roe versus Wade, and oh my God, society is crippling women, and it's not. You can vote, you can get married, get a divorce, go shopping, drive a car, buy a car, get a job, leave a job, start your own business. What oppression. If you're a woman watching this video right now, leave a comment and let me know, what oppression are you facing right now as a woman? I'm serious. I want to know, what oppression are you facing right now as a woman? Are you not able to do whatever you want to do? Are you not right now exercising your given right to be on YouTube? Where's the oppression? Because feminism teaches that men are oppressing women. But in reality, I'm going to say this. I believe that women desire to oppress men. Because if you look at the way Western society is, Western society actually benefits women, and it demonizes men. Case in point, a woman commits a crime, for example. A woman will serve a lighter prison sentence than a man. If a woman gets in trouble for a crime, a woman will typically not only receive a lighter sentence, but they could probably make parole. But a man gets a heavier sentence, and it's not equal. And we're going to get to equality in a second.
This whole patriarchy thing, I think you have no idea how pernicious and dangerous it is.
Well, no, I don't. I really don't. Go on.
Throughout history have fundamentally cooperated to push back against the absolute catastrophe of existence. A terrible death rate, the probability of chronic starvation, early death, disease, the difficulty of raising children with all the death that was associated with that. And to look backwards in time and say, well, basically what happened was men took the upper hand and persecuted women in this tyrannical patriarchy is an absolutely dreadful misreading of history. It's a terrible thing to teach young women, and it's a horrible thing to inflict upon men.
Right. And that's what it is. That's what's going on in the world as we know it, especially on social media. Social media right now is a dumping ground of traumatic experiences from bruised and bitter women. That's it. You go on Twitter right now and type in feminist, you will see a long list of people that are just angry, bitter, hateful. My ex did this, my ex did that. That's why they have fem sales and fem people. Because so many women are just bitter and angry because they don't truly understand what a patriarchy is. All a patriarchy is a system where men are on top. And it's not like a pyramid where the man is on top and the woman is on the bottom. No. Women benefit from patriarchy because you know all these women that want a man to pay for their meals, and they want a provider, and they want a protector, and they want a sustainer. That's patriarchy. You want a man to do what a man's supposed to do? That's patriarchy. You want a man to pay all the bills, and if he doesn't pay all the bills, then he's not a man? That's patriarchy. So in reality, women actually love patriarchy because women benefit. They get protection, they get provision, they get a free house, they get a free car, they don't have to pay for anything. But in a matriarchal society, which is what a lot of women want, that puts the woman as head of household. See, a lot of women think a matriarchal society is better than a patriarchal. But all you're doing is reversing the roles. That's all you're doing. A matriarchy is where the woman is the head of the household and the man is underneath the woman. That's a matriarchy. So what women want is they want to rule over men. That's what they want. They want to overthrow patriarchy, and then they want to rule over men. That's it. That's what they want. Let's look at this other video real quick, because I want to get to the presentation.
So you guys can probably tell I'm not a feminist. But,
Really?
yeah, I know, very
Hard
surprising.
to tell.
I think if you do your own research into the history of just humanity in general, men are stronger than women and therefore probably have more possibility to commit atrocities. But generally speaking, men in the past valued women. They valued their job immensely, and they fought, died, and provided so that their women could have that coveted job. Because men were built to do that. They love doing that. That's patriarchy. And patriarchy, in its purest form, protects those women that are under their care.
Exactly. Patriarchy protects women that are under their care. And I got one more video. Give me 1 second. I gotta pull it up. Where is it? Here we go. All right. So this video is gonna prove that women love patriarchy.
Along the way, people have decided that being equal, having equal rights, means that women want to be treated like men. Just because I want equal rights for men and women doesn't mean that I somehow lose my femininity.
Stop. Stop right there. It does. Because if you're equal, see, this is what women This is what women don't get. When you ask, y'all remember the old saying that we grew up learning as kids? Be careful what you ask for, that you just might get it. Y'all remember that? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that. Because I remember that, and I didn't understand what it meant until I got older. Women are trying to get equal treatment as men. They want equal rights. They want equality across the board. That actually excludes you from the very thing that you benefit from. You're not going to be protected. You're not going to be provided for. You are asking to be a man. That's what you're asking for. When women say, I want equality with men, you're asking to be a man. You're asking, this is what men can do. I want to do it. But see, there's a double-edged sword. Men don't protect our equals. I'm going to say that again for the women in the back listening. Men don't protect equals because equals don't need protection. So if you're asking to be equal with men, you're giving up a man's protection and provision. Because we also don't provide for our equals. You rarely see a man providing for another man, protecting another man, because we're equals. We don't provide for our equals. We don't do things like that for people that are our equals. But women don't understand that. They really don't.
I am still a woman and want to be treated as such. Just because I want equal rights for women, that doesn't mean that I don't want doors opened for me. Doesn't mean I don't really love being led into a room by the small of my back. I can be a feminist and still want to receive flowers for absolutely no reason. And not for nothing, but I give my man flowers for no reason because it's just nice to receive flowers. I don't know why men see feminism as such a horrible thing. It's actually an unbelievable compliment to men. When women don't have equal rights with men, we need men. We once needed you to have a bank account or open a business. And now we don't need you, but we choose you. We want you. I just think that is such a more powerful thing than just needing you and not.
I'm going to stop right there. And this is the feminist lie that they tell you all the time. Like, we can do this, we can do that. We don't need you. We want you. We don't need you. We just want you. No, you still need us. Because that bank account that you open was created by a man. That money that you got was given to you by a job that was more than likely created by a man. So you going around and saying, I don't need a man, is absurd and asinine. You do need a man.
Needing you in the romantic way, but needing you in the just logistical way. Feminism benefits everyone.
Almost feels like this is rage bait to say this, because what she's essentially saying is that we want equality where it benefits us, and then we want to keep the sort of the norms of the patriarchy where it benefits us. And that's just not going to be a deal. That's not a deal that you can work out with in when you're trying to build sort of an equal society. It has to be equal all across the board. And that brings me to my broader point. these videos and these analysis like this, they are essentially saying we are not cool with the equalizing of society, because society is just not going to be equal in the workplace. The society is not going to just be equal in the banking system and the legal system. Society is going to be equal in every facet of life, including the romance facet. And that's where a lot of the modern men are pushing back and going, wait a minute, equality also extends in the bedroom, also extends in the romance area. That's where equality, we're going to force equality there, where it benefited you in the patriarch. That's where men are going to force equality. And that's essentially what's happening. But think about that. You want these sort of a la carte to be able to a la carte pick the things that benefited you in the patriarch, and then you want to kick away sort of the things that didn't benefit you. This is the reason why I separate American feminism versus actual feminism. Because, in my opinion, the vast majority of men are feminists, but they're just not American feminism. And in a nutshell, American feminism is more of a bourgeoisie sort of movement. They're only concerned with equalizing the top roles in businesses. They're not talking about equalizing ditch stickers. You get what I'm saying? So it's a bourgeoisie movement that's concerned with the ills or the things that the bourgeoisie women say are wrong with society, because you don't see these same ones fighting against the genocide in Palestine, in Gaza, for example. That would be true feminism, because you care about those girls over there in Palestine and wherever else, depending on where you land on that, but wherever else, with the point being, and a lot of black feminists have this critique of American feminism where, oh, you don't care about what's happening to black women's plight. You just care about a certain segment of people's issues. And that's why I call it a bourgeoisie sort of movement. But to sum it up, if you want equality, that means equality everywhere. Now, I'm not saying where I land on either side. I'm just simply saying you can't pick and choose equality. If you want equality, it's equality of everything.
I agree. And this is why feminism of today, I believe it's a joke, because they want equality, but they want to pick and choose what they are equal with. They want to pick and choose. No. If you're equal, then you're equal. If you're not equal, then we're not equal. But you want to be equal with work, but you don't want to be equal when it comes to money. And this is why when it comes to the patriarchy, shout out to everybody that just joined the live. Hit that like button on your way in. Leave a comment to let me know, do you think patriarchy is good or bad? I need you to let me know in the comment section. But when we talk about patriarchy and matriarchy, when it comes to general patriarchy, the woman benefits. The woman has always benefited. And what feminism teaches our young women is that patriarchy is dangerous, it's deadly, men are evil, men are bad, men can't be trusted, you have to be careful. Like, these are things that people don't talk about outside of social media. I kid you not, I didn't know about any of this until I started to get more active on social media. Outside of social media, women are not waving feminist flags and talking about protect women's rights. They aren't doing that offline. They're only doing it online. And I find that curious because they're only doing it online, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, definitely on TikTok. But it's almost like a cult to me. Feminism didn't used to be like this. When Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony created feminism, it was to get women's rights to vote. That's it. They just wanted the right to vote, the right to divorce, and the right to open a bank account and do everything that a man can do. But now that feminist movement has turned into radical feminism, where they say things like, all men are bad, you gotta be careful, you don't know. That's what rad feminism is. But we're gonna go and I'm gonna talk about the Black community, because it's important to talk about both sides of the coin. So I'm going to talk about us, because we need to talk about the left and the right, the white and the black. So we're going to talk about the Black community. Shout out to all my Black brothers and sisters that are watching the stream. Put a 1 in the chat, and we're going to get right into the matriarchy. See, there's a difference. The Western society is a patriarchy, but the Black community is a matriarchy. A lot of you don't know that. How many of you knew that? Put a 1 in the chat if you knew that the Black community is a matriarchy. It's not a patriarchy. It's a matriarchy. The white community is a matriarchy. The Latino community is a matriarchy. The Asian American community is a matriarchy. But Black people, we're a matriarchy. And we're going to get into how did that happen, why did that happen, and what we can do to solve it. But before we get into that, I noticed some people may have joined the stream. So we're gonna, if you've been here any amount of time, you know that I gotta play my intro. I never have it ready. That's my fault. Wait. Let's do it again. If you just joined the stream, go ahead and hit that like button. And we're going to run our little like intro and we'll get on with it.
Hit it, get it, ow.
Anyway, we're going to get into it with, don't you mean that whites, Asians, and Latinas are patriarchy and Black? It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Yeah, whites, Asians, and Latinos are patriarchy, and Blacks are matriarchy. My apologies. But anyway, we're going to get into, I wanted to play, well, we'll play the video later. Now, we're going to talk about the Black community. the black community and patriarchy. What are we under? And as you can see, we have the Black Women Matter sign. So before we talk about the black community, we're going to talk about what is patriarchy. And I'm going to blow this up so everybody can see it. Patriarchy, a system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is the head of the family and descent is traced through the male line. That's patriarchy. That's all it is. Definitions, words matter. That's why I always say words matter. A system of society or government in which the men hold the power and women are largely excluded from it, or a society or a community organized on patriarchal lines. But now, here we go. What is a matriarchy? Is the black community ran by women or men? Now, if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you already know the answer. But if you do not know the answer, I'm going to give you a few seconds to put your answer in the chat right now. If you think the black community is run by men, say men. If you think the black community is run by women, I want you to put women in the chat. Go ahead and do it right now, and I'll give you a few seconds to do that, because I'm interested to know, what do you think the black community is run by? Is it run by men or is it run by women? So while we're doing that, we're going to talk about the matriarchy, a system of society or government ruled by women or ruled by a woman or women, a form of social organization in which descent and relationship are reckoned through the female, the state of being in an older, powerful woman in a family or group. So that's what a matriarchy is. Is the black community ran by women or men? And this is what women typically say. Women. Men hate women. What women mean? Men abuse and violate women. Men, women hate men. What they mean, she wrote a post calling out the patriarchy. So why do black women lead black community? Why do black women lead the black community? Here's a breakdown of the information that we found. In 2023, 25% of black households were headed by with a woman with no spouse present, more than double the rate for all women, that's 12%. As of 2019, black households had the highest share of women-headed households, reaching 60%, when considering both single women and women who are the primary head within married households. Historical context. The prevalence of female-headed black families has increased significantly over the past decade. Some theories link this to the historical aspect of slavery on black family structures. And here we go, lower marriage rates. Black women are less likely to be married at the time of childbirth compared to women overall. Economic disparities. Female-headed households, particularly those headed by Black women, face higher poverty rates compared to other family structures. Systematic challenges. Black single mothers often face systematic barriers such as financial instability, lack of affordable childcare, and racial bias in various systems. So we have to take all that into account. Single mothers and how they feel. Y'all remember Good Times? That show where Florida Evans was like, yeah, she was like, I'm not gonna sing it because of YouTube, but y'all can sing it. When I forget the episode it was like her husband died, but single motherhood was glamorized during this time period because even on this TV show, they glamorized single motherhood. Same thing with Maury. Same thing with Ricky Lake. Same thing with Montel Williams. It was a glorification of single motherhood. So this is what I think. Based on my years of research into Black relationships, because I've been doing research on Black relationships since the early 2000s, 2010 and prior. So I would say at least almost the last 15 years. But slavery created a division between Black men and women that still affects us today. Black men were degraded in front of Black women, leading to a belief that they were incapable. Additionally, white men used Black women as concubines during slavery, further straining the relationship between Black men and women. These historical factors have contributed to the rift between Black men and women and started the single mother or Miss Independent movement. Actually, speaking of Miss Independent, we're gonna watch a video. Give me 1 second, because I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it real quick, because it's a good video. I've played it on this channel before. So we're going to watch 2 videos. We're going to watch one video with NBC's Meet the Press with Daniel Monahan, December 1965, on the Negro family, the case for national action. And then we're going to watch a clip of a Negro family back in 1960. Let me get that video.
Each week, American History TV's Real America brings you archival films that help provide context for today's public affairs issues.
Our guest today on Meet the Press is the author of the controversial study, The Negro Family, Mr. Daniel P. Moynihan. His report, prepared when he was Assistant Secretary of Labor, at first was warmly praised, yet has recently been sharply criticized. Mr. Moynihan, a professor of political science, is now at Wesleyan University. He was one of the drafters of the nation's anti-poverty program, and he has just been appointed by Mayor-elect Lindsay to the New York City Poverty Task Force.
There he is.
I would have the first questions from Mr. Moynihan, from Lawrence E. Spivak, permanent member of the Meet the Press panel.
Here's a quotation, for example, from a recent article by William Ryan, a Harvard psychologist, who criticizes your report in The Nation. And this is what he writes, quote, "The implicit point is that Negroes tolerate promiscuity, illegitimacy, one-parent families, welfare dependency, and everything else that is supposed to follow." Now, that's the criticism he makes of your report. Now, how do you answer those charges?
I can't. I'm not responsible for the fact that he can't read. As E. Franklin Frazier said, and I quoted from him at some length, there is a lot of evidence that the Negro middle-class family, when it gets its opportunity, gets a bearing, is, if anything, more stern, more rigid than most. But the evidence is simply clear. Negro Americans live like any other Americans, and when they're forced into the ghetto and forced into disorganization, they have no more better protections than anyone else.
I'd like to ask you one specific question.
And see, this is what he's saying. And a lot of people don't understand the systematic oppression that black people have had to go throughout years and years and years. What we see now in the black community is a result of what happened back in the 1950s and 60s. Because back in the 1950s and 60s, you had racism, you had white supremacy, Jim Crow laws, you had all of these different things. And now that we're in 2025, we are experiencing those things. We're experiencing the things that we are experiencing right now. What we have before us, because Moynihan tried to warn us back in 1960 that this was going to happen. Back in 1965, he created this report to try and warn the black community, like, hey, you need to stop doing what you're doing, because 40 years from now, you're going to be in worse shape than you are now. You're going to be in worse shape.
The New York Times quotes you today as saying, you say that 44% of the children in Harlem are illegitimate. Now, how do you know that?
Those are statistics of the New York City Department of Health, sir. 10 health districts in central Harlem, the area which the great American sociologist Kenneth Clark described in his HARU report as having undergone a massive deterioration of the fabric of society and its institutions, and right under our prosperous noses that happened. That hasn't existed for 50 years. That's happened in the last 15 years in this America, and we've been sitting around thinking things have been getting better, and they haven't been getting better for those children. And I think I for one, if you see what people can face for the civil rights movement in the way of sheriffs, in the way of howling mobs, in the way of the disapproval of their entire society, well, I think I would hope certainly I'm willing to face the disapproval of a few white liberals from Boston who think I shouldn't raise the subject because it's impolite.
Mr. Novak.
Mr. Moynihan, in your report you say, quote, equality of opportunity almost ensures inequality of results, unquote. Are you proposing preferential treatment on the hiring of Negroes?
I believe this country owes the American Negro his back wages, yes.
Should the federal government support preferential treatment for Negroes then?
I believe what President Johnson said in his Howard University speech. You cannot keep a man in chains for 3 centuries, then take the chains off and say suddenly, okay, you're free to run the race of life with anybody else. They have to be made people have to be given the opportunity to compete with effective resources. And I believe that we should make a special effort.
In any given month, there are about 450,000...
Hold on. So, I agree with what he was saying. Is that so... The reason why the black community is a matriarchy is, to be honest with you, it started in slavery. And I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to bring it up again. When we were in slavery as black people, the black man was broken down in front of the black woman. So when the black man was broken down in front of the black woman, that's why you have so much animosity from black women toward black men. Then the white man came and said, I'm going to put you in my house. I'm going to let you be my concubine. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then that planted the seed for what we see now. That's why it was so easy for black women to get on welfare, Section 8, and food stamps, because the seed was already planted during pre-colonial slavery. And when we look at the relationship between black women and black men, you see a disparity when it comes to equality among the genders. So when we look at patriarchy and we look at matriarchy, the black community itself is not under a patriarchy. Black men do not benefit from patriarchy like black women like to say. But in retrospect, we look at how the patriarchy benefits women and the matriarchy benefits women. So men really don't benefit in either system. The women do. So we're going to look at a video. This is, again, from the early 1970s. It's from the case of Negro action. And if you just joined the stream, don't forget to hit that like button on your way in. Get them likes up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're going to look at this video real quick.
Welfare checks in California. Every 2 weeks, the mailman delivers a check to the home of Cynthia Jones. She, her husband, and 2 children collect $423 a month. Mrs. Jones has been on welfare nearly 4 years. Her husband has not worked since last December. Twice a month, she follows the same...
I want you to pay attention to that. She has been on welfare for 4 years. Her husband has not worked at all since December. So they're on welfare, impoverished. Husband hasn't worked. This sounds like black people today. This sounds exactly like black people today.
Routine. First, she cashes the check at the supermarket, then goes to another part of town to purchase food stamps. $71 worth every month. The stamps buy $170 worth of groceries. There's rent, about $170. Utilities run $45. And she has a small insurance policy on her 3-year-old daughter. Other expenses eat up the rest. The state has an automatic cost of living increase for those on welfare. It averages about $200 each.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, baby. How's my love child?
Fine.
Tell me.
Let me mute that because I don't want to get
America.
Yeah, let me fast forward this. Hold on. Let me because there's a part in here we go.
Is on public assistance, aid to dependent the assistance that you receive and how you manage on it and so forth.
Don't give me no bills.
There you are.
And I want you to notice one thing. Where's the man? Where's the man at? I haven't seen one man. Well, I've seen one man, but where's the man? I mean, because there's one part in here that I want to focus on. This might not be the right video.
And what about now?
Well, it's still hard because I can't pay out. Can't pay the bills like they should be paid, and they have to have clothes and shoes, and I still have to pay the same amount of rent, which I didn't pay all of my rent this month because I didn't have enough time in at the hotel. So I paid half it, and I told them that I would pay the rest of it when I get paid, which will be Thursday.
You said earlier, I believe, that you came here from Arkansas 2 years ago.
Yes.
Did you come here to work?
Yes, I did.
Did you work when you first came here?
I worked 5 months at the Frontier.
And what about your husband?
Well, he's in Arkansas, I guess. I don't know where he is.
I don't know where he is. So you're basically a single mother. And that's what we're saying, is that life back then was not any different than what we're doing now. What we're doing now in the Black community is no different. That's why when you look at facts, data, and statistics around Black women, which we're going to get into in just a second, hit that like button if you just joined the stream. Welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But what we're talking about is patriarchy and matriarchy. Do you believe that patriarchy is good or bad? Leave a comment. Let us know. But when we're talking about matriarchy in the Black community, this is what we're talking about. So this is what we're talking about right here. This is where the matriarchy comes from. So when did it start? In the 1950s, while marriage rates peaked for Black women in 1960, 62%, it started to diverge from white women's rates, which peaked in 1960 at 67%, according to the Hoover Institution. 1960, approximately 61% of Black adults were married in 1960. So 61% were married. Post 1960, Black women's marriage rates fell significantly faster than white women, particularly for cohorts born after 1960. 2008, the marriage rate for Black adults dropped to 32%. So between 1960 to 2008, Black marriage rates dropped from 61% to 32%, and now in 2022, and in the early to later 2000s, the percentage of currently married black women had fallen to 27%, a drop of more than half from 1940. In 1965, the Moynihan Report was written. And this is the book. The Moynihan Report. This is the book. I actually have read this book. I encourage anybody to get it. The Moynihan Report. You can get it on Amazon. It's a decent book. So this is an excerpt from the book. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. It was this abrupt transition that produced the wild Irish slums of the 19th century. Drunkenness, crime, corruption, discrimination, family disorganization, juvenile delinquency were the routine of that era. In our own time, the same sudden transition has produced the Negro slum. Different from but hardly better than his predecessors, and fundamentally the result of the same process. Negroes are now more urbanized than whites. Negro families in the cities are more frequently headed by a woman than those in the country. The difference between the white and Negro population of proportions of families headed by a woman is greater in the city than in the country. The promise of the city has so far been denied the majority of Negro migrants, and most particularly the Negro family. In 1939, E. Franklin Frazier described his plight movingly in that part of the Negro family entitled In the City of Destruction. The impact of hundreds of thousands of rural Negroes among northern metropolitan communities presents a bewildering spectacle. Striking contrasts in levels of civilization and economic well-being among these newcomers to modern civilization seem to baffle any attempt to discover order and direction in their mode of life. But in many cases, of course, the dissolution of the simple family organization has begun before the family reaches the northern city. But if these families have managed to preserve their integrity until they reach the northern city, poverty, ignorance, and color force them to seek homes in deteriorated slum areas from which practically all institutional life has disappeared. Ignorance and color, hence at that same time that these simple rural families are losing their internal cohesion, they are being freed from the controlling force of public opinion and communal institutions. Family desertion among Negroes in cities appears then to be one of the inevitable consequences of the impact of urban life on the simple family organization and folk culture, which the Negro has evolved in the rural South. Shout out to all the Black people watching the stream that are Southern people. Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia. Y'all, shout out to the South. The distribution of desertions in relations to the general economic and cultural organization of Negro communities that have grown up in our American cities, shown in a striking manner the influence of selective factors in the process of adjustment to the urban environment. So even Black women had more children back then. Even back then, Black women had more children than any other race. Again, This is from the book Monahan Report. The Negro women not only have more children, but have them earlier. Thus, in 1960, there were 1,247 children ever born per 1,000 ever married non-white women 15 to 19 years of age, as against only 725 among white women, a ratio of 171. The Negro fertility rate overall is now 1.4 times the white, but what might be called the generation rate is 1.7 times the white. And we even see that today. And y'all have seen the stats. More black women have children than black men. Less black men have children than black women. But nobody's penalizing black women for having that many children. And if you notice, the same thing that Monahan is saying that was going on then, don't y'all know it's still happening right now in America in 2025? As with the population as a whole, there is much evidence that children are being born most rapidly in those Negro families with the least financial resources. This is an ancient pattern, but because the needs of children are greater today, it is very possible that the education and opportunity gap between the offspring of these families and those of stable middle-class unions is not closing, but is growing wider. A cycle is at work. Too many children, too early, make it most difficult for the parents to finish school. In February 1963, 38% of the white girls who dropped out of school did so because of marriage or pregnancy. Key word there, marriage or pregnancy. But 49% of non-white girls, an Urban League study in New York reported that 44% of girl dropouts left the school because of pregnancy. And then we still see that today. Statistics still show that black women leave school because of pregnancy. The matriarchy. Is the black community under a matriarchy? A fundamental fact of Negro American family life is the often reversed roles of husband and wife. Now, if you journey into the black community in today's world, you will see that black women lead single motherhood. They really do. So if black women lead single motherhood, then they're still doing it today. Listen to what the Monahan Report says. I'm going to try to make this bigger. A fundamental fact of the Negro American family life is the often reversed roles of husband and wife. Robert O. Blood Jr. and Donald M. Wolfe, in a study of Detroit families, note that Negro husbands have unusually low power. And while this is characteristic of all low-income families, the pattern pervades the Negro social structure. The cumulative result of discrimination in jobs, the segregated housing, and the poor schooling of Negro men. And 44% of the Negro equalitarian, the largest percent of Negro families are dominated by the wife. The matriarchal pattern of so many Negro families reinforces itself over the generation. This process begins with education. Although the gap appears to be closing at the moment, for a long while, Negro females are better educated than Negro males. And this remains true today for the Negro population as a whole. The testimony to these effects of these patterns in Negro family structure is widespread and hardly to be doubted. Whitney Young says, historically, in the matriarchal Negro society, mothers made sure that if one of their children had a chance for a higher education, the daughter is the one to pursue it. Now, what does that look like? So the reason why so many black women are more educated than black men is because black mothers make sure that the daughter is the one to pursue higher education over their sons. And this was in 1960. This was in 1965. The effect on family functioning and role performance of this historical experience is what you might predict. Both as a husband and as a father, the Negro male is made to feel inadequate, not because he is unlovable or unaffectionate, lacks intelligence, or even a gray flannel suit, but in a society that measures a man by the size of his paycheck, he doesn't stand very tall in comparison with his white counterpart. To this situation, he may react with withdrawal, bitterness towards society, aggression both within the family and racial group, self-hatred, or crime. Or he may escape through a number of avenues that help him to lose himself in fantasy or to compensate for his low status through a variety of exploits. The Negro wife in this situation can be easily become disgusted with her financially dependent husband. Her rejection of him further alienates the male from family life. Embittered by their experiences with men, many Negro mothers often act to perpetuate the mother-centered pattern by taking a greater interest in their daughters than their sons. In a matriarchal structure, the women are transmitting the culture. If the Negro woman has a major underlying concern, it's the status of the Negro man and his position in the community and his need for feeling himself an important person, free and able to make his contribution in the whole society in order that he may strengthen his home. So in closing, I want to ask another question. If you want more honest conversations, hit like and subscribe and share your story in the comment section. That's been it for tonight's live stream. I hope you all learned something about the matriarchy and patriarchy. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week when we go live. Peace.
Stay strong, rise above the hype. Yeah, yeah. Life's got layers, not just what's in sight. Yeah. Brothers, stand tall, let's rewrite the code. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Truth in your headphones, ready to unload. Phase with a confident cadence. supported by laid back beats and a smooth bass line. The vibe is gritty, yet motivating. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, keep it